I got good news for you and I got bad news for you. He said, the good news is you don't have ALS. I wasn't thinking any major disease like that, you know. Okay, what's the bad news? He said, well, the bad news is you have CIDP, but it's treatable. If you're going to catch a neurological disease, this one's a good one to catch because we can treat it and it's not life-threatening. So, you know, that was my introduction to CIDP. But it was a shock, you know. Up until that point, I was still in denial that I was sick. If I look back now, I could see symptoms even maybe a year before. I started having trouble with my back, lower back. And I just thought, you know what? It's just kind of middle age creeping up on me. I must have hurt my back. I bought some Tylenol because my back was sore. And I walked by the little stand with the canes. And I said, you know what? I think I need one of those. And so I just grabbed a cane and sure enough, it helped. I put up with that for probably 3 months until Patti finally convinced me, go to the doctor, you know what. So I went to my family doctor and he said, oh yeah, I think you got a back problem. So we did all the back stuff, x-rays and ultrasounds and all that. And you know, this is about 2 months later. Now I'm walking with 2 canes and really starting to struggle just to walk. He said, well, you know, I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, I don't see why you have so much pain.
He said, well, you've always walked with a limp. I said, yeah, no, this is different. I said, just watch him walk. For me, the first 6 months was a lot of being Jason's advocate because he just wanted to get through the day. And it was me that, you know, said, we need a neurologist. We need to go, we need to figure this out.
I just wanted to make it through the day, go home, sleep for 12 hours, and try and make it through the next day. That was all I was focused on. So without her there being my advocate, I mean, who knows where I would have ended up.
I got on the phone and I said, you know, we can come anytime. When you have a cancellation, call us. And yeah, we got all the tests done in a month. I was pushy.
I was still trying to work. I wasn't working very effectively. It was hard for me to sit in a chair for 8 hours in a row, let alone think or even work on a computer or anything like that. I would come home and I would sleep all weekend. I would sleep 12, 14, you know, I'd be 14 hours a day, completely exhausted.
When we found out that he had CIDP, and it was something that I could go on the internet and I could find out other people who've had it, I could find out what it was about. That was so much better for me because it gave me some hope. I called my dad. My dad is, you know, typical dad, and he came and we built a ramp up the front of the house. And Jason was mad at me. Why did you do that?
We had a big fight about that ramp, yeah.
And I said, we might need it. And he was in denial at that point.
This whole journey, we call it, it's a grieving process. It's a loss. And you've got to deal with all those stages of grieving. You know, it's no worse than losing a loved one. You lost a part of your life.
When I built the ramp, that was part of my grieving process. I was realizing that our lives were changing and I had to step up.
Yeah,
and
so everything that I used to do, fell on her shoulders.
Minus 40 degrees and the furnace goes out. Well, Google it and you figure it out. I mean, I fixed our furnace. He lost his license shortly after getting diagnosed, so I ended up being the driver. 3 kids to look after and a full-time job and...
Me.
And you.
I went from being a primary breadwinner, now Patti's the primary breadwinner in the family, and that's a big adjustment for her. Now I have to depend on my wife, you know, to support the family. And that was that didn't take like a few days to get over. That was years to get over that hurdle. Yeah, she's, as I said, she's my rock, so.
No, it's, I won't say it's been easy, but, you know, I think I'm that much better for it.
Do you think that you appreciate her more now that you can provide so much?
Now you're going to make me cry. I mean, not that I never appreciated her, but there's no way that I can it's hard for me to express how much she's done for me. And I hope she realizes that. I think she does. Thank you. I really don't know where I'd be without her and my whole family. I mean, not just Patti, but my kids too.
When he was at his lowest, our 8-year-old would come home for lunch, make him lunch, walk him from the bed to the lounge chair, make sure that he got to the washroom, and then leave him, go back to school.
Yeah, 8 years old, so.
But she's a tough kid.
It's hard for me to think back. I mean, again, I wasn't in my best frame of mind then. And, you know, I think back and that's a lot of responsibility to put on an 8-year-old. I declined enough that I was in a wheelchair for a while. And then I slowly started progressing, went from the wheelchair to a walker, electric scooter, and now I'm using canes. I can walk on my own without the canes, but it's not very pretty and not very safe. So I get yelled at if I don't use them. So I'm finally smart enough to figure out that just keep using them. I mean, I call it new normal for me now, you know, and there's nothing you do about it. I mean, you can think about the past and what you had planned to do with your life, but you got to move on eventually. So you appreciate what you have now. I mean, you mourn what you've lost, but you can appreciate what you have. You don't appreciate your mobility, for example, until you lose it. And then the simple fact of walking across this room or going up 3 stairs in your house. When I discover that I can do that, there's a joy there, you know, that, you know, things are getting better. I am actually treatment-free right now. It'll be 2 years in December that they took me off the IVIG, and things have been nice and stable. So that's good news in my book. So yeah, it wasn't a great experience, but it could have been so much worse. So that's what I take out of it, that you got to move forward and do what you can do, and just.
For me, it was discovering what I'm capable of.
Yes, yeah.
I can do anything, you know. Watching our kids grow up a little bit more, I think, independent. The 5 of us are very, very close, and I think part of it is from Jason being sick.
Yeah. Be aware, we are rare. Please share.